Hi there, Ruth here at Artful Stampin'. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make really interesting kind of watercolory backgrounds using some very basic and simple techniques here. So I'm using the Stampin' Up silicone mat that is just a fantastic little tool for not only using hot glue and sticky stuff, but also having a bit of a base to apply ink to create backgrounds. So to start off with, I'm going to show you how to do it with just basic supplies like ink pads. So if you already do stamping, you probably have these already. And all I'm going to do is apply the colour directly to the mat. So here I've got some Perfect Plum. And I'm going to be using colours that are complementary to each other. They're next to each other on the colour wheel. So a little bit of pink. So pink, purple and blue kind of are very close together. And then the next thing to do is just apply some water. So I've got here the Stampin' Up spritzers, and I find that these are great for giving a very fine mist of water. So all I'm doing is going to give it a really good mist up. Really want to see lots of water on there. And here I've just got some pieces of very vanilla and oh, there's one Whisper White there, cardstock that I've cut up. This isn't the thick one, this is just the normal standard one that we normally would use for stamping. And I'm just going to place my card down in various places and allow it to pick up some colour like that. Okay, so that first impression is very dark because the colour is very strong on the mat, which is fine. This is about a process of just experimenting and creating lots of different backgrounds. I'm going to spritz again. Actually, I'm just going to use the top of my spritzer just to pull some of that colour in from the sides a little bit, although it doesn't actually matter too much. Grab another piece of card and go again and see what happens. And here we have a slightly more muted effect, but still really, really good fun. And I'm just going to apply another lot of colour. I'm going to move my mat in a little bit just to get that colour to come to the centre a bit more. Another piece of cardstock and see what happens this time. So as you can see, the colours are even more muted. There we have it. Now another fun technique is, rather than getting the colour all over the piece of cardstock, we can focus on just the edges. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more water and just dip the edges of my cardstock in the water, just to give a, I suppose, a vignette effect. So vignette is where you focus in on the centre, so you just apply colour or shading to the edges of your canvas or your card or a piece of work. And then we have a really interesting kind of border going around the edge. Another fun technique for getting a background onto your card is to use the watercolour pencils. Now obviously the normal way we use these is to colour in, but did you know that you can scrape them and use them? So watch this, guys. Just grab a pencil and use a pair of scissors and very carefully just scrape some of the tip of your pencil onto the silicone mat. You might sometimes catch the wood, don't worry about that, it's not going to affect the results too much. So that's the pumpkin pie. Here is some, which one's this one? Rich Razzleberry. Now the nice thing about this is that you can be a little bit controlled about where you actually apply some of the colour. So that's that. And then this is Calypso Coral. Just do a few flecks of that. And then here we've got Melon Mambo. So you don't have to do as many colours as I've done. I've done like 4 colours on here. And because they're watercolour pencils, they are going to react with the water. So this is very much trial and error. I've had a go at doing this and overwatered sometimes, and do it from up high because the force of the mist coming down can push the shavings off your silicone mat. So do the spritzing from about 30 centimetres or 12 inches away and just allow it to build up and to slowly let the water react with the shavings on your silicone mat. Then get a piece of cardstock and lay it down. And I like to leave it for a few seconds just to allow the colour to seep in. Okay, and let's see, I'm hoping for the best. Woohoo! There we go. Okay, so that's the result of that. This gorgeous kind of like speckly kind of finish. And of course you've got some spare bits there, so if you want to use that up and apply a little bit more to what you've done, you can do, or you can just re-spritz and do a lighter version. So there we go, that's another way of getting some backgrounds onto some card. Okay, so another fun technique for getting a really interesting background onto your cardstock is to use the Brushos. And again, we're going to use a silicone mat. So I've got the Brushos here in a kind of rainbow formation. So here's the brilliant red, the gamboge or orange, the yellow, the moss green, and the Prussian blue. And we're just going to add some colour then to, it's not colour, sorry, water to this. Really get the fluid mixing around the mat. And then add your cardstock over the top. And lift off. There you have a really fabulous kind of rainbow effect. And of course we've still got some colour left on here, so it would be a shame to waste it, so let's get a more muted version onto whatever's remaining. And because the pigment is so strong in these powders, there's always lots of residue, lots left on there, and you can see there's plenty there to get a second impression. And there may even be enough to get a third. You know, why waste any of the ink that's on there? I can still see flecks of colour on there. I'm just going to move that around. This time I might just have to pop it down twice to pick up whatever's left on my mat. Knock something over there. So even knock it underneath, so let's pick that up, let's not waste that. Some on my wood paper as well, so I may as well pick it all up. This will make some interesting background. And if you don't like it, you can always just have another go. Pop some more colour down and away to go. So this is just a slightly different way of applying the Brushos. Obviously you can apply it directly to the cardstock, but this way you just get a slightly different effect by doing it this way. So just create some fun, interesting backgrounds.